Welcome to the Gamer Novelist, where pixels meet pages. Today on the Gamer Novelist, we journey back to where the magic began, into the pages of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is the doorway to a universe that reshaped modern fantasy and children's literature. The story begins with an orphan boy living a miserable life under the stairs of his relative's house, unaware of his true destiny. Everything changes on his 11th birthday when he discovers that he is, in fact, a wizard and has been invited to attend Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. From that moment, the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary dissolves, drawing readers into a world where every object, creature, and corridor seems alive with secrets. For those who have never read it, this book is more than a tale about magic. It is a story of self-discovery, friendship, and courage. For those returning after many years, it feels like revisiting a childhood dream that never truly faded. Even today, its pages still cast the same spell they did upon their first release. J.K. Rowling's writing style is deceptively simple, yet deeply evocative. Her sentences flow effortlessly, allowing even younger readers to immerse themselves without difficulty, while adults can appreciate the subtle ironies and emotional nuances hidden within the text. The tone balances humor and gravity, while the narration keeps close to Harry's point of view, letting us rediscover the world with the same curiosity and vulnerability that define him. Descriptions are vivid without being excessive. Dialogue feels natural, serving both to develop the plot and to reveal the inner thoughts of the characters. What strikes me most is Rowling's ability to make the unbelievable believable. Every detail, from a floating feather to a magical spell, feels grounded in logic and emotion. Reading her prose feels like watching the world unfold through a child's eyes, where wonder is always one step away from danger. The story begins in the mundane world, where Harry is mistreated by his cruel aunt and uncle. His existence seems destined for nothing but neglect until a letter arrives, revealing his invitation to a school for witches and wizards. From there, the reader follows Harry's journey from the ordinary to the extraordinary, from a lonely boy to a young hero discovering who he truly is. At Hogwarts, Harry meets Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger, two friends who become his family and allies. Together, they uncover the mystery of a hidden object known as the Philosopher's Stone, a relic said to grant immortality and infinite wealth. As the trio investigates, they face magical challenges, puzzles, and moral trials, culminating in a confrontation with Professor Quirrell, who serves as a vessel for the dark wizard Lord Voldemort. The structure of the novel is classic, yet perfectly executed. Each chapter unfolds with the rhythm of discovery and suspense, leading to a climax that feels both satisfying and meaningful. Even without prior knowledge of the saga, readers can grasp its moral weight. True power lies not in domination, but in selflessness. The magic of this book lies not only in its characters, but in the world they inhabit. Hogwarts is more than a school. It is a living organism where portraits talk, staircases shift, and mysteries lurk behind every door. Each location, from Diagon Alley to the Forbidden Forest, carries a sense of history and wonder. The contrast between the Muggle world and the Wizarding one gives the story a sense of realism, as if these two realities could coexist just beyond our sight. Rowling creates a mythology that feels ancient yet familiar. The magical objects, creatures, and customs are introduced gradually, allowing readers to learn alongside Harry. It is a masterclass in immersive world-building, where fantasy is always tied to emotion. The sense of belonging and the discovery of identity are embedded in every corridor, every spell, and every whispered secret. Harry's growth defines the story. At first, he is a lonely, uncertain boy, unsure of his worth. Yet as he learns about friendship, courage, and the meaning of sacrifice, he becomes the symbol of resilience. His loyalty to his friends, and his ability to choose what is right over what is easy shape the moral core of the narrative. Ron and Hermione balance Harry's journey. Ron embodies warmth and humor, teaching loyalty even in the face of fear. Hermione represents reason and intellect, showing that knowledge and compassion must coexist. The mentors and rivals, Dumbledore, Hagrid, Snape, and Draco, add shades of complexity, illustrating that morality in this world is rarely black and white. Every relationship feels alive and evolving. Through friendship, rivalry, and trust, Rowling explores what it means to grow up and to define oneself against expectations. At its heart, the novel explores the power of love, the strength of friendship, and the importance of choice. Harry's mother's sacrifice becomes the foundation of his protection, reminding us that love is the most ancient and invincible magic. Friendship gives the trio courage to face evil, and the recurring theme of choice, symbolized by the Sorting Hat, teaches that destiny is shaped by our own decisions. These themes transcend age. For children, the story is a lesson in courage and belonging. For adults, it is a reflection on morality, temptation, and the human condition. Even decades later, its message feels fresh and universal. The battle between good and evil begins within ourselves. The book is rich in symbols. The mirror of Erist reflects one's deepest desires, warning against the danger of losing oneself to dreams. The Philosopher's Stone represents the temptation of immortality and power, but also the wisdom of renouncing them. Harry's lightning bolt scar serves as a metaphor for trauma, memory, and identity. It marks not just survival but transformation. These symbols elevate the story beyond fantasy, turning it into an allegory about self-knowledge, restraint, and the cost of desire. Through these images, Rowling transforms a children's adventure into a meditation on human nature. Reading this book evokes a deep sense of nostalgia and wonder. It captures that fleeting moment between childhood and adulthood where the world still feels full of magic. Each triumph and loss carries emotional resonance, from Harry's first train ride to Hogwarts to his final confrontation in the underground chamber. The emotions are honest and unfiltered. As a reader, I felt empathy, excitement, and an aching sense of belonging. Even if you are reading it for the first time as an adult, the story awakens a childlike spark, a reminder of why stories matter. While many fantasy stories exist, few achieve the balance that Rowling finds here. She combines myth, mystery, school life, and moral philosophy into a seamless whole. Her creativity lies not only in inventing spells or creatures, but in constructing a believable emotional logic within the impossible. The world feels coherent, alive, and personal. It is this balance between simplicity and depth that makes the novel timeless. It does not imitate other works. It transforms them, creating a new myth for a modern age. Rowling's debut novel stands at a crossroads between myth, folklore, and modern literature. Its roots stretch deep into British tradition, from the boarding school novels of the early 20th century to the Arthurian echoes of destiny and mentorship that permeate its pages. The author's use of Latin incantations, medieval iconography, and moral allegory recalls the structure of classic tales, while her humor and pacing reflect a distinctly contemporary sensibility. In comparison to its contemporaries, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone diverges from the darker, more cynical tone that defined much of 1990s fantasy. Instead, it embraces warmth and wonder, reviving the archetypal hero's journey for a generation that had grown skeptical of it. Where Tolkien's The Hobbit built a mythic epic and C.S. Lewis's Narnia spoke through allegory, Rowling created a living, breathing world where magic coexists with everyday struggles. Its impact on the young adult genre is immeasurable. Later series such as Percy Jackson, Aragon, and His Dark Materials would all, in their own way, respond to the legacy of Hogwarts. Yet none captured the same delicate equilibrium between innocence and complexity, between the ordinary and the extraordinary. What Rowling achieved was not merely a fantasy. but a mirror reflecting the reader's own journey from childhood to self-awareness. The universal strength of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone lies in its accessibility. Children find in it a gateway to imagination, where learning becomes adventure and courage is measured not by strength, but by heart. Teenagers see themselves in Harry's struggle for identity and belonging, and adults rediscover the sense of wonder they once thought lost. Its language is clear yet layered, allowing different generations to read the same story through different emotional lenses. The humor appeals to both young and mature readers, and its moral dimension speaks across cultural and temporal boundaries. The themes of friendship, loss, and self-determination make the novel timeless, while its structure, the cycle of discovery, temptation, and growth, mirrors the stages of human life itself. Few books manage to remain relevant for over 2 decades without losing their spark. The Philosopher's Stone continues to enchant because it speaks not only of magic, but of human truth. It is a story that evolves with the reader, transforming each rereading into a rediscovery of self. Reading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone again after so many years felt like returning to a familiar dream, one that has grown older but not dimmer. I remember as a child being drawn to the sense of belonging that Hogwarts represented, a place where even the outcasts had purpose. As an adult, I now see the quiet sadness beneath the wonder, the loneliness of a boy who seeks family and friendship, and the weight of a destiny he never asked for. What fascinates me most is how Rowling hides profound lessons beneath simple scenes. The sorting hat moment, for instance, is more than a school ritual. It's a metaphor for free will and moral choice. The Mirror of Erist is a warning about obsession, about the danger of mistaking desire for reality. Even the act of receiving a letter from an unknown world becomes symbolic of awakening, of being called toward one's true self. A lesser-known curiosity is that many of the book's magical names derive from ancient languages and alchemical lore. Philosopher's Stone itself comes from the medieval quest for perfection, both material and spiritual. Rowling transforms these ideas into narrative flesh, turning myth into emotion. For me, this book remains a reminder that storytelling is the purest form of alchemy. It takes ordinary words and transforms them into gold. Not the kind you can touch, but the kind that stays in your heart long after you've closed the final page. Exceptional world building and mythic resonance. Deeply human emotional core. Memorable, multidimensional characters. Universal themes that transcend age. Masterful pacing and accessible writing style. Some supporting characters initially underdeveloped. Predictable moments in its classical hero's arc, occasional oversimplicity in exposition, especially early chapters. J.K. Rowling's prose is clear, engaging, and perfectly suited for readers of all ages. Her use of dialogue feels natural and distinct for each character, while descriptive passages are vivid without ever feeling overbearing. The narrative flows smoothly, making the magical world feel accessible, yet immersive. The plot is simple but tightly structured, introducing readers to Harry's world with a mix of mystery, wonder, and tension. The story builds naturally from Harry's ordinary life with the Dursleys to his discovery of Hogwarts and the magical challenges that follow. The pacing is well balanced, keeping younger readers captivated while allowing older audiences to appreciate subtle narrative details. Rowling creates a magical universe that is both fantastical and grounded. Hogwarts is fully realized with unique locations, traditions, and a rich sense of history. Everyday details, from spells and magical creatures to objects like chocolate frogs, make the world feel lived in, while symbolic elements such as the Philosopher's Stone or the enchanted ceiling of the Great Hall add layers of meaning. The central trio, Harry, Hermione, and Ron, are distinct, relatable, and develop naturally throughout the story. Supporting characters like Hagrid, Dumbledore, and Malfoy are memorable, each contributing to both humor and tension. Character relationships evolve organically, offering lessons on friendship, loyalty, and courage that resonate across generations. Themes of identity, choice, bravery, and the struggle between good and evil are woven seamlessly into the narrative. Symbolic objects and events, the Philosopher's Stone, the mirror of erased magical challenges, enhance the story's depth without feeling forced, creating a meaningful and engaging reading experience. From the isolation of Harry's early life to the excitement of his first year at Hogwarts, the book evokes wonder, suspense, and empathy. Readers experience Harry's joys and fears alongside him, making the story emotionally resonant for both new and returning audiences. Nostalgia amplifies its impact for longtime fans. While drawing on classic fantasy motifs, Rowling's combination of magic, humor, and school life feels fresh and inventive. The blending of mystery, adventure, and coming-of-age elements creates a universe that has inspired countless authors and adaptations. Accessible to young adults yet compelling for adult readers, the book transcends age and genre. Its humor, pacing, and moral lessons ensure broad appeal, making it a timeless introduction to fantasy that invites repeated reading. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone stands as a masterful introduction to a legendary series. Its clarity, charm, and imaginative world-building create an unforgettable reading experience, appealing to readers new to magic and longtime fans alike. The book lays a foundation that supports deeper themes and expansive storytelling in the volumes to come. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is not merely the beginning of a saga. It is the beginning of a generation's imagination. It captures the essence of magic, not as a spectacle, but as a metaphor for the courage to face the unknown. Even decades later, its light still burns as brightly as the candles that float in Hogwarts' Great Hall. Thanks for watching. Don't miss my next review, only on The Gamer Novelist.